What is going on, all of you Phantom Thieves out there in the world? I'm Mega Am, so thank you for watching this YouTube video. Whether you are a new or returning viewer, I appreciate you stopping by. And today I have an interesting video here because this isn't quite a full review because, spoiler alert, I did not finish Persona 5 Royal. I played a lot of it, I picked it up and put it down a few times, and I just couldn't find the motivation to finish it. But I want to give my thoughts overall here. This is mostly going to be a spoilers video because I'll just have a lot of rambling, incoherent thoughts. Like I said, this isn't going to be a review where I structure it more. I'm still going to try to sell people on it with light to no spoilers in the first part here, and then we'll get into spoilers for probably the majority of the video. So let's start with a few minutes of light to no spoilers here. I really like this game. Even though I didn't finish it, I really like this game. Turn-based RPGs are not my favorite genre. In fact, they're probably one of my least favorite genres. I've made that apparent if you've watched this channel before. And it really takes a lot of unique battling and gameplay mechanics for me to really enjoy a turn-based RPG. And this one does. This is easily one of, if not my favorite turn-based RPG I've played. And it's due to a few things, right? So the big thing that you might know about Persona is the fact, besides Joker being in Smash Brothers, is the whole idea of, you know, the daytime being like this life sim element style, and then you go into this kind of more fantastical world, and that's where you do your turn-based combat. That's not going to be for everybody, right? The life sim elements, I know, will not be for everybody. I personally really enjoy that, especially because I love RPGs and story and side stories, even minor side plots in a game. Like, that's the thing I loved about Xenoblade Chronicles. I love the story there. For context too, I played Persona 5 Strikers, the action RPG game, which is pretty much a sequel to this game, before playing this game, which I know you probably should play this one first, but you know, I played it out of order, so what are you gonna do? I didn't think it was mandatory that you play this first, but it would have made some things in Strikers make more sense. Either way, I actually really like the life sim elements. You could definitely see it getting tedious, you know, if you're not into that sort of thing of like going around the city, buying new goods, you know, spending time like increasing your friendships and bonds with your party. I personally love that stuff. That's something I love in like Fire Emblem, for example, like the support conversations between characters to power up. I love those, and I love those moments in this game too. There are like a lot of little mini games sprinkled throughout, but there's a lot you can do in kind of the life sim aspect of this game. And personally, I really like it because it directly correlates to the combat later on. You know, whether it's like items you make, confidants you level up or obtain, there's a lot that goes on. You can even like work like part-time jobs and stuff, right? So there is a lot. It's like living another life in that regard. But it directly impacts the combat, which I personally like doing those. And speaking of combat, I actually really like the combat too because, and I imagine the other Persona games follow a similar structure. Thanks GameSpot for the trailer, shout out to them. The combat is almost, in a way, I like to equate it to Pokemon, where there's different weaknesses. So in battle, you have like, you know, regular melee combos you can do, and like you can use your gun to shoot enemies, but you can also use your personas, the titular ability, which allows you to essentially like use different moves with different abilities. There's different typings, like physical, gunshot type. There's like elemental abilities like electric, ice, flame, curse, blessing. There's all wind, all poison. Like there's a psychic, I think I'm named most of them. And it kind of works like a Pokemon in a way where certain enemies have certain weaknesses, and if you have the right persona ability to target that weakness, it works great for you. And doing stuff like that allows you to string combos within your party for even longer before the enemy even gets a chance to attack. All sorts of status ailments you can inflict, all sorts of counter moves you can do, and some of them are really flashy and fun, especially once you get later into the game. The combat's really fun. Like, in terms of turn-based RPGs, I think this might be my favorite combat, because I mentioned previously with games like Mario and Luigi or Paper Mario, I really like the timing-based input attacks, and I do like those, and those aren't present here, but I really, in terms of being able to actually strategize and think, I like the idea. It's one reason why I love Pokemon battling. Like, the one thing that I like about Pokemon battling is like the weakness targeting. Like, I like that idea of like different Pokemon, different categories, and certain ones are strong against some and weak against others, right? And there's a similar idea here with Persona. Persona allows even more customization, though. You can fuse certain personas and summon new ones, and level them up and turn them into different personas. There are all sorts of stuff and customization you can do there, which I do really like. I think this is definitely my favorite turn-based RPG gameplay that I've played. Granted, I haven't played a ton of turn-based RPGs in the grand scheme of things, but this definitely is my favorite. And going back to kind of the life sim elements, but like one reason why that carries it so much for me outside of battles, I don't find it super tedious, but just like the characters, I really love this cast of characters. The whole squad, like some of them I like more than others for sure, but they're all good here. And I know like some characters are new for this version specifically, and it's like, I don't know, it's fun. I like seeing these characters grow together and like directly impact the combat as a result. The story's interesting, the premise is super interesting, you know, especially if you're into kind of like the detective like stealth kind of vibe going on. It's, I don't know, they like to play that up in the whole, it's very like, not satirical, what's the right word? Political? I don't know. What's the right way to describe it? It's very like anti-corporation, kind of anti like CEO kind of vibe. So if you're into that sort of vibe, you'll enjoy like some of the premises that this game brings to the table. There's like a lot of mini stories essentially. It's almost like an anime playing out. I know they have an anime for Persona 5, but like it's almost like an anime playing out fully through this. What am I listening to here? The soundtrack's great, by the way, but some songs are very interesting. So we're just gonna skip that one there, but I really like it overall. Now, before I move on to the spoilers, the big thing that really detracts me from this game is its length. It is an extremely long game. I think I put about 75 hours by the time I put it down. I got stuck on a certain boss fight. That's a good chunk of the way into the game. I definitely have gone past the halfway mark for this game. I definitely feel that I have. I haven't confirmed it because I don't want to look up in case I end up picking the game up later on. It's too long for me. It's, especially as a turn-based RPG, it's really hard for me to stick with a game that long. Now, in comparison's sake, let's take like Xenoblade Chronicles, which I loved. That's not a turn-based RPG. That's more of a JRPG. Not really an action RPG. I don't even know what you would consider that. Let me know in the comments below what Xenoblade's considered. That gameplay I prefer. I prefer that gameplay to something like this, but you know what I mean? I don't love the idea of sitting through menus and attacking that way, but I think this game is my favorite out of all the ones that I've played that does that. Because it does a lot of stuff, unique stuff, like with the whole weakness gimmick with personas and all sorts of flashy combos you can pull off with your crew that you have out. Mementos I didn't love. That was a little bit tedious. I won't get into what that is specifically if you haven't played. But like, it's just its length. It's tough. I honestly prefer Strikers, which is weird because it's a sequel and they want you to play Persona 5 Royal before you play Strikers, but Strikers is an action RPG. It is because it's developed by Koei Tecmo, Team Ninja. They worked on, you know, some of the Hyrule Warriors games, or other Warrior games too, of course. But it's an action RPG, and that's like a 50-hour game. I put 75 hours in this game, and granted, I did a lot of the side stuff, but I wasn't able to get through everything. It was just, honestly, it's just too long for me. And I tried to pick it up, put it back down a couple different times throughout, like the second half of last year. I started playing this game back in July of 2024. And I played a lot of it then, put it down for a while because new games like Zelda and other stuff were coming out. Picked it back up for a little bit, got stuck on a boss for many times and just couldn't beat it. And then I got discouraged and put it down. And honestly, that's why I haven't been able to pick it back up. And you know what? I decided I'm done for now. I think so. I mean, 75 hours is a lot of time to put into a game. I still have a lot to go, I think. But at this point, I think I'm good with where I'm at. You know, I really enjoy the gameplay mechanics. It's just a little too long in the tooth for me. And I know it would be one of those games that if I stuck through it and pushed through, I would really enjoy it. But, you know, I think I'm good with where I'm at for now, for sure. But, I mean, I would highly recommend it as a turn-based RPG. You know, it has oozing with style. The soundtrack, I mean, of course, Lynn's music is so good, along with the rest of the soundtrack, too. It's just, the presentation is great. It works very well on the Switch. I played the Switch version for this. I loved playing that game portably. As someone who enjoys playing games portably, definitely would recommend checking that out, especially as a longer game like this. Play it on the train or wherever you go. And like the characters were enticing, and like the gameplay, both the combat and the life sim elements are enticing. You know, if I finished this game last year, which was my goal, it definitely would have been near the top of my list for games that I played for the first time last year. It's too long. I'm sorry. It's really too long of a game, and I couldn't push through it. I got stuck on that one boss and had to put it down. But, you know, I still wanted to make this video talking about my overall thoughts as far as I did get into the game there. But I guess with that, let's go into spoilers here. So I actually don't even know how long this part will be, but definitely click away if you are not planning, or if you're planning on playing this game, definitely go away now. I don't want to spoil anybody here, so I'll give you a few minutes to click away if you've not played the game and you care about spoilers. All right, so I don't even know what else there is to spoil. For those who want to know, I got stuck on the Akumura boss fight. I don't know. I tried many times over to target the weaknesses of those worker robots, and I just couldn't do it. But honestly, like, the boss fights were fun. The palaces were decent. Yeah, like I said, Mementos I didn't love. I just found it too tedious. But like, just story, I love the different characters here. I didn't rename the main character. I kept his name as is. But like, I really like the cast of characters on display here. I mean, I'm a little biased because I met them first in Strikers and really liked them there, and then I played this game. But it was cool to see like how all the characters met up. You know what I mean? Like the different circumstances, and a lot of it's dark too. I mean, all the stuff with like An and even Makoto, and Haru. Even though I couldn't finish her palace, like the fact that I like just seeing that whole arc of her with her father was just, that was brutal. And this game is definitely mature themed. It does not pull its punches. I imagine the final boss would be against that one dude who, like, with the flashback with Joker, was drunk and, like, you know, with that girl or whatever. I imagine he's always in the background somehow, right? He's pulling the strings, so I imagine he's the final boss. But I'll never know because I never got that far. Yeah, I liked a lot of the mini games. Certain ones I did more than others. You know, I bought plenty of stuff at the grocery stores and stuff. The movie theaters were fun to go to with characters. The stuff like the batting cages, I didn't do the batting cages very much. What I really mainly liked to do during the day was, like, if someone was messaging me on my phone, like to come help them and like increase our rank, then I would do that. That I really enjoyed doing. And then it was really fun when you get to the point where there's like 15, almost 20 characters that you can talk to and increase your rank with. So I really enjoyed kind of keeping up with them and seeing how their lives were going. It got tough trying to prioritize certain characters over others, you know? Definitely deciding to choose what to do. Ryuji's my boy. Like, I usually chose Ryuji over anybody else. I mean, especially because he's like the first one you meet, right? But that was fun. And just like the characters in battle were fun. My favorite character in battle, I'm trying to think. I do like Makoto a lot in battle. Honestly, Morgana was probably my least favorite to use in battle. Just like, I don't know. Not that he was bad, but I don't know. Compared to everybody else. I don't know if you can unlock Kasumi and Akechi in battle. I never got that far. Of course, I met them and got to interact with them, but like, the last character I got was Haru, and she was pretty good. So, you know, it's unfortunate. I think it's tough because I don't even know, because like I said, I got stuck on that Akumura boss. I don't know if I'd continued playing back when I was really into it, if I would have been able to push through. You know what I mean? I might have gotten stuck again and just been like, screw it. But it was an unfortunate circumstance of the game being so long, and then other games like, Echoes of Wisdom was really what took me away from Persona, and then I got back into it a little bit, but then I wanted to wrap up other games, including Mario and Luigi Brothership, at the end of 2024, and now it's been a month and a half since I've even tried to play this game, and even then it wasn't for long, and now I'm just like, I don't really have the desire to go back. I love the characters, I love the story, I think I'm done, you know? Maybe one day I'll go back and finish it up, or I'll just like look up the ending at some point, but I don't want that to give the message that I didn't like this game, because that's far from it. It's just the game length is fatiguing. Even a game that I love the mechanics in, like I think this is my favorite turn-based RPG. I think I can officially say that in my mind. I'm trying to think of any other turn-based RPGs I'd like more, and then this one definitely, you know, precedes those. Just the presentation, the music, the style, the characters, the story, the gameplay, even like. I think this is my favorite turn-based RPG combat. And then the life sim stuff I actually really, really like. That could definitely make or break the game for some people. But I really liked it. It's just, game length can ruin any good game, you know what I mean? More hours to me doesn't equate to a better experience, you know? Sometimes I want, especially a story-driven game and a character-driven game, to just wrap up its story and not go on for even longer, you know? And I feel like this game's a little too long in the tooth. And what's interesting is I believe Royal adds more content, you know, to this version compared to the base Persona 5. I don't know how much more. I don't even know if I've encountered all that content. Probably not, but I imagine some of it with like the new characters like Akechi and Kasumi, and I think Dr. Maruki, I want to say, is a new character for Royal. Let me know in the comments below if I'm wrong about that. But the way they're highlighting him in this trailer, especially, he seems like he's probably new. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's honestly a really well-made game, and I can see why it became such a hit, right? And grew the Persona and even Shin Megami franchise even more. But I didn't have the energy to stick with it through, which is a bit of a bummer because like I really like the game. I really like Persona 5. It's not under my favorite games of all time. I think I honestly I think I prefer Strikers. You know what I mean? Strikers in its story does feel somewhat repetitive and very similar to this game until the very end, but it's a very similar premise up until like the last few hours where it really changes things. I mean, at least I assume. I don't even know what the final boss in this game, to be honest, but I vastly prefer the gameplay of Strikers, and it's a 50-hour game if you do all the side stuff. Like, it's not nearly as life simmy as this game, but I think honestly the life sim stuff definitely can drag it out. You know, I'm not gonna say it doesn't in this game. So 75 hours in, I feel fine with where I'm at. You know, I don't feel the desire to fully continue. Maybe I will one day, but it's not going to deter me from checking out Persona 4 Golden. I want to check that out at some point. I already own that on Switch. But yeah, I guess overall, just to summarize my thoughts on this game as I end this video here, I really, really love this game. This is a great game. I really enjoyed Persona 5. I just couldn't find the motivation to fully see it through, just because of the game length and just picking it up. A lot of it was unfortunate circumstance of other games coming out and taking priority over this, but a lot of it was also due to game length, right? I put 75 hours in this game. That's a long time. And even with that, there was still quite a lot more left. And I couldn't find the motivation to finish it and see it through, you know? And I'm okay with that. You know, I'm happy with the fact that I experienced most of this game, got to take it in, and honestly became more of a Persona fan. You know, I want to check out Persona 4 Golden. Maybe I'll check out Persona 6 when it launches. You know, I'm definitely more paying a closer attention to the Persona series now that I've played this game and really honestly enjoyed the characters and story and the gameplay. For someone who doesn't love turn-based RPGs, this is definitely my favorite turn-based RPG combat that I've played before. So definitely would give it a recommend if you've ever been curious. Just keep in mind that it's a long game. But if you love the kind of character story driven and if you like the life sim elements as well as the turn-based RPG combat, I think you'll get a kick out of this game. So definitely would recommend it if you haven't checked it out. I love it on Switch. Just to have it portably. You could also get it on Steam Deck if you want that, but it's also on all the other consoles as far as I'm aware. So it's pretty much everywhere now that it's gone multi-plat. That's great to see. So more people could check out this game, and I would definitely give it a big thumbs up for me. So with that, that's going to kind of summarize this video talking about my personal journey with Persona 5. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you finish this game, of course, keep it spoiler free, please. But let me know how much you enjoyed this game, and if you've never played it, let me know if you're interested in it. I know the game length time can deter some people, but just keep in mind it's really fun. I would definitely give it a recommend. So with that, thank you all so much for watching. I will catch you all on the next video or live stream, and until then, keep staying secretive, Phantom Thieves. We'll see you out there.